This is Bill Morton, president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Our co-host, Trudy Leong, could not be with us today because she had some work obligations. This is Community Unity Now, the D-Tycoon Show. We are here with our guest, Eric Basir, ATU Local 308 Union Representative. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, tell us what ATU Local Union Representative is.
We are elected by the CTA workers. Specifically, in my case, I was elected by vehicle maintenance workers at the CTA, rail vehicle maintenance workers. And my job is to help the members abide by our collective bargaining agreement with the Chicago Transit Authority, and also to hold our employer accountable to the collective bargaining agreement, and to represent the members who need assistance whenever there's an issue, a dispute with the management of the CTA.
So how did you come to be a candidate for this position?
I was nominated by coworkers. I work as a mechanic. Of the trains. We're actually titled rail car repairers or car repairers, and the mechanics and the servicers, the people who clean the trains, and the people who clean the motors. We actually have people who actually clean motors. It's a very important thing to do that people may not know. And because we're all in the background, pretty much. You see us operating trains and buses, but you don't always see the people who maintain the trains and buses. So that is how this came to be.
So where are you guys located? At the end of the lines?
Yeah. The maintenance facilities for the rail are typically located at the terminals, but out by the yard where the trains are kept. So you may see a building in the background far away. That's generally where we're working.
So I'm from Rogers Park, and we have Howard Yard over there by John Quill, and at the end of the red line there. Have you been there?
Yeah, Triangle Park.
Mm-hmm.
I often, when I was working out at Howard's shop, I would often, after work or before work, go out there on the sidewalk with my bullhorn and blast the CTA mismanagers for violating us and disrespecting us.
So you're calling them mismanagers or mismanagement.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because there's a distinction. And some people say, oh, you're calling them names. I said, well, I asked the manager who said he was offended by that. I said, do you mismanage? Do you consider yourself a mismanager? He said, oh, no. I see us all as one big family. I'm like, okay, well, I ain't talking about you then. No big deal. So a mismanager is someone who they miss when it comes to doing their job and making sure the facilities are safe, making sure the workers have the time off and the schedules that they pick. A manager will be the opposite. A manager will look out and care about the workers. And we have very few of those at the CTA. In fact, a lot of the managers that I know of, that I encounter, who care about the workers and the riders, they seem to end up being pushed out, or they seem to quit. They seem to get fed up and leave to go somewhere else. And it's the mismanagers that stay. It's the people that decide, who make these crazy decisions, like running 8-car trains all night. And then the riders in the morning have to get on these trains. And they're saying they're filthy. You see, Bill, back in the day, before the CTA collapsed in the 80s and somewhat in the 90s and even 2000s, when it wasn't rush hour, the train consists were cut. 4-car trains, sometimes 2-car trains. especially late at night. So the people that rode the trains needed to ride the trains. But now, in some stroke of genius, they think that running 8-car trains all night is manageable. And they only have 1 or 2, maybe 3 if we're lucky, servicers, people that clean the trains. So you can imagine what's happening in a society that's breaking down like ours, where people have nothing, often are homeless. What are they going to do? They're going to live on our trains.
So you have 8 rail car train, say Red Line.
Yeah.
You've got
Blue Line too.
4 rail car trains, say Pink Line.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the two of them? Why?
Well, the Pink Line ridership is not as large, right? But it's much more manageable. You know, when I was a train operator, I loved it when I had a 4-car train, because I could actually see the people when I'm opening and closing the doors. And when they killed the 2-person crews, when they got rid of the conductor job, care of a union president named Jerry Williams, who was ended up becoming a CTA manager after he was fired by the union members. 2 people, so you would have an operator or a motorman in the front, and you have a conductor in the middle, and they would make sure everyone got on the train. They could see, they could talk to the rider. If they needed to go check a lost and found, the motorman could continue. So the 4-car train nowadays, such as on the Pink Line, and the 2-car trains you'll find on the Yellow Line, not so much the 6-car trains on the green and the purple, but it's so much more smoother. Riders have a better experience, you know. They like to call them customers. But the thing is, they don't treat them very well, you know, the management. And they expect us to have to clean the trains and maintain the trains and operate the trains on time when we have so much filth and so many hazards to deal with.
I take all the rail lines. I take all the lines. Mostly though the Red Line, and you can see the Red Line, you can see the Blue Line, and you can see there are more issues on the Red Line and the Blue Line. Filthy seats. I'm riding with Trudy, and we can't sit down, and she can't see something on the. No, don't sit there. Can't sit there. We have to stand. I don't even hold the pole. I wrap my jacket around it, and when I go home, I don't put my jacket on the bed. I hang it up in a special place for the dirty jacket that was in the CTA. Tell us why.
There is not enough CTA workers, not enough servicers. Those are those who clean the trains. There are not enough. They keep it at a bare minimum. In some cases, such as 63rd and Cottage Grove, one of the terminals at the end of the south end of the Green Line, you'll have one person that has to clean 6 cars. It's impossible.
How long do they get to clean 6 cars?
Well, it depends. Now, over on that end, sometimes 10 minutes, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But when it comes to, you know, the Harlem end or the Red Line or the Blue Line, it could be 3. It could be 1.
You're talking about 1 minute?
Yeah.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
So we've got an 8-car running 24/7. There are people living on it. Just a sample of the issues, which our viewers already know. There's urine, there's feces, there's vomit. People are intentionally spilling coffee or some sort of beer or liquid all
Trash.
over the seat so nobody could sit on them.
Hypodermic needles.
The needles, and then there's the smoke, the cigarettes, and everything else, of course.
Yeah.
The crack smoke, which is the worst in my opinion.
The loud, the disgusting marijuana. Yeah.
So, and then there's the graffiti and other things as well, and the articles of whatever from people. So 1 to 3 minutes sometimes to clean that up at the end of the entire line. So it gets from one end to the other. That's when it gets cleaned?
Yes.
And then when it comes back, it gets from that end to the other?
You'll go to 95th, there's servicers there. And then it'll come back to Howard, there's servicers there. And then when the switchmen take the trains into the yard for if there's a defect or they just need to put it away because rush hour's over, we have servicers that will sweep the trains in the yard. And then we have what's called general cleaning, which is an intense top to bottom interior cleaning. And that's, if you've ever noticed, you come onto a train once in a while, it'll smell really good and it'll be spotless. Well, that was because one of our great servicers or a couple of our great servicers did what's called general cleaning. And that's only done every couple of weeks.
So we have many different surfaces on these. I was on the Red Line yesterday, and I saw one of the cloth seats. It was like no cloth seats, and then like one of them had a cloth seat.
At the bottom or the back? The seat bottom or
the seat bottom.
Okay, on the Red Line.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a,
So tell me about that.
So when we first got those series trains, that's the 5,000 series trains, they were all cloth, you might recall. And they looked nice, they felt nice, but guess what? You got to maintain it, you got to clean it. And so when you clean it, it gets wet. And sometimes it's not dry. And people would sit on it and be, ugh. So they got rid of those, but they kept the back. And you'll see in the new 7,000 series trains, which are mostly on the blue line, we still have the cloth on the back. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. It's like the poor riders and workers have to suffer because of the CTA mismanagement, can't make up their mind. Are they going to be a world-class public transportation agency, or are they just going to be a scrappy, get there and get it done as fast as possible? They don't know what they want to be. So if you want to be a first-class public transportation agency, CTA management, you're going to have to staff the cleaning crews of our trains. You're going to have to double and triple the amount of servicers. In fact, we need to have one servicer per car, per rail car, with broom, mop bucket. Then they can take their time and get everything. Because, Bill, you wouldn't believe this. You might not believe this. I think you would if I told you. But you might not believe this, and the listeners. We have every car servicer, rail car servicer, has a 2-page instruction of all the things they must do on each rail car. It never gets done. It can't get done. And when it does get done, you're only going to have, if you're lucky, one car cleaned. And they assign 2, 3, 4, sometimes more rail cars per platform servicer. So then, when they don't get it done, check this out. And someone complains, the management, in their infinite wisdom, goes with cameras and takes pictures. They pull video, and they say, look, you missed the chicken bone. You missed the joint. You missed some pee in the seat. But you got one person responsible for 4 and more cars.
So what happens to that worker?
They get written up with something called poor work performance. And you get if you're a full-timer, 5 of those, and you get fired in 1 year.
What if you're a second chance worker?
If you're a second chancer, you get 3. You're doing the same work. So we got, people who may have felonies or may come from an environment where they don't have, where they were abused or something like that. Not necessarily felonies, but just people just down and out trying to make a life for themselves.
Let's talk about the turnover.
Oh, the turnover. So you're looking at almost 50%. Just in almost 10 years, almost half of the people that come in leave. Over all the people they hire, they'll say, well, we hired 100 people. 50 are going to quit or get fired.
So why under 10 years?
Because they don't treat us with the dignity that even basic law dictates. For example, we don't get sick days at the CTA. We don't get paid sick days. We get written up. Bill, you're not feeling well today. You call the manager and say, excuse me. My wife and my children are sick with the flu, and I've been up all night with them, I'm too tired to come to work. They say, okay, that's excessive absenteeism, 1 mark. That will stay on your record for 1 year. Now, everyone's okay, right? After that day. They're over their 24-hour flu. Now, you come to work, and you work a couple days. Now, all of a sudden, you got it. Mm-hmm. And your stomach is upset. So that was a couple days, right? You call, hey, man, I'm sick now. I got it. Oh, okay. Well, that's mark number 2. Now, you're not getting paid, by the way. You're not getting paid for those days. Mm-hmm. But you're also getting written up.
So you get 6, and second chance workers get 3. So get half of.
That's right. Full timer, I get 6 in a year. They get 3. Mm-hmm. And they a lot of us, the CTA is a 24-hour operation. So that means we have a midnight shift. Do human beings are they normally awake in the midnight? No, not normally. It's not by their nature. So sometimes if they work the midnight and they're in between stuff, sometimes they may doze off, right? Well, at the CTA, if you doze off at work and they catch you, not that they have to wake you up and say, Bill, wake up, man, wake up. Listen, they get a picture, then they say, wake up. Mm-hmm. And they write you up. That's a behavioral violation. 1 day suspension. 3 of those in a year and you're done. But if you're a second chancer, 1 and you're done.
So if you doze off, if you look like your eyes are closed, if you're just kind of not for a second.
Yeah, oh yeah. And they catch you.
They get the picture.
Yeah, they get that picture. And sometimes, and that's why I encourage riders, please don't beat up the CTA workers because we're treated like crap. But sometimes you'll be walking by a booth or something and you'll see someone like this. Just knock on the window. Say, you okay? Everything okay? Because you never know. Maybe they had a heart attack. You need to get them medical. But please don't take a picture of the CTA worker because I guarantee you if they're a part-timer, they probably worked a double shift.
I want to talk about the CTA work conditions for the person in the booth. Sometimes I do see they go into a door that is a restroom, mm-hmm. and sometimes I don't see it. Mm-hmm. Is there a restroom in every CTA station?
No, absolutely not. In fact, if you and not all of them work, by the way. Like Logan Square on the Blue. There's others where we have complained repeatedly to the managers that we need the toilet to be fixed. We need running water. We got a whole rail shop right now as we're speaking that continues to go out as far as running water. We're talking over 100 people with no running water for days.
So there's like hand washing, toilets.
Yeah, and fire suppression.
Okay.
Because if you got no water in your building and you got a fire, you got no sprinklers. So you look at some of the stations like on the brown line and the purple line. Let's look at noise on the purple line. Francisco on the brown line. There's no toilet there. So we have a majority female workforce on the customer assistance. And a lot of them are young. And sometimes, when you're young, that's when you have children and stuff. Well, you get pregnant. And women have to use the bathroom a lot when they're pregnant because they're carrying 2 people and it's heavy. Well, guess what they got to do? They got to go call the dispatch, call control, say, hey, I need a bathroom break. I need to go personal. And they're okay. And then they're timing them. And they got to ride a train to another station.
Wow.
And then they got to hope that bathroom is working. If you at Francisco, you're going to ride either the Kimball or the Western. Hope it's working. Hope nobody else is in there. If so, you got to wait. And they're watching the clock. And then you got to come back. And then sometimes, as you know, the brown line will shut down. It shuts down after a certain hour because we don't run 24-hour anymore. So then you're stranded. We got some loop stations like that too. So you're stranded. So what you got to do, you got to call, and then they got to send a manager or a supervisor to pick you up in a car to take you to go potty. Yeah. Wow. And hopefully in between all that, someone hasn't come into your station shooting somebody else, throwing bullets all over the place. And hopefully someone who doesn't like you in the neighborhood or just is just out of their mind doesn't start smashing in the windows of the booth where you work.
So I've seen a call for bulletproof windows in the booth.
Yeah.
And just on Howard Station, we had a CTA worker shot somewhat recently. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah. Well, the bulletproof is nice. They say we're going to have bulletproof. Yeah, but you still got to leave the kiosk. You got to walk out to go help the person with the venture machine. It's like, okay, you got to give us a force field too. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. But we had a case where, workers who were going, for example, Howard Yard, Howard Terminal. So in their infinite wisdom, the CTA mismanagement makes the people who work in the yard, on the operations side, not the maintenance, but the operations side, the switchmen, the towermen, they make them go all the way down the street and across to the terminal side to clock in and clock out. So a lot of times, sometimes there's some, dangerous elements down there and they get exposed to it. And lo and behold, there happened to be a drive-by shooting, not against the CTA workers, but against some people nearby the CTA workers. And one of them was shot in the chest. He didn't die. Mm-hmm. And another, his car was riddled up with bullets.
A lot of times in Rogers Park in the 49th Ward, our older person says, oh, this wasn't a targeted shooting. And she goes, this wasn't a targeted shooting. It wasn't a targeted shooting. And it's like, calm down, everybody. It wasn't targeted. Okay. But guess what? Anybody could get hit by these bullets.
Right. It's a shooting.
Yeah.
It's a shooting.
Yeah, it's serious.
And people are packing, and it's bad. It's so bad that CTA workers are packing, and they're not allowed to. Mm-hmm. But they're like, either me or them. I mean, it's sad.
We have so much to talk about. There's so much going on. I'd love to have you on, 30, 40 more times.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think that we need to have discussions. There's so much happening. Can you tell me, we have a minute left or so, can you tell me about the new CTA president?
Oh, President Nora. Mm-hmm. So she is, what do you call a person that's temporarily the president? So if Mayor Johnson and the Governor Pritzker want her to be permanent.
The interim
Yeah, she's
president.
the interim. Mm-hmm. So I haven't heard from her. I read a little letter from her. She sounds like she's nice. She's a mom and has some pets and stuff. But what I want to know is, do you think that CTA workers should have paid sick leave? That's all I care about.
You want to know her issues on the workers' rights.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned. I really don't care about anything else. Mm-hmm. And until if she wants to make the CTA work right, then she's got to treat the workers right, and she can't carry on like Dorville Carter did and all the other people before her.
Did the former President Carter ever meet with you to speak on workers' rights?
No.
Okay, and would you meet with the current interim president to speak on workers' rights?
Oh, absolutely. But I would do it with other CTA workers, though.
Okay.
And hopefully our union presidents will do that, but I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We have about a minute left. How can people contact you if they want to learn more about Local 308?
Well, we have a website, atu308.org, and then I got my blog, Eric Basir 308.blogspot.com.
And you are on YouTube as well?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching your YouTube. How do we find you on YouTube?
Yeah, Eric Basir 308, or Eric Basir Union Steward.
And how do you spell your name?
Basir.
All right, and then the YouTube channel again?
I forgot the exact handle, but it's close. You just do a search.
All right.
You're going to find me there, I guarantee it.
All right, thank you so much, Eric Basir.
Thank you.
ATU, Local 308.
Ooh. Sounds so good.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Let's see you move up and represent the workers.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Eric Basir for president. I'm tired of this crap.
Thank you so much. This is Bill Morton, and
Thank you, Bill.
For Trudy Leung, our co-host, who's not here right now due to work obligations. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.